Ms. Smith, you and your father, Mr. Wooten, are suing to prove Ms. Baccus is not his biological daughter. You say your dad owes more than $92,000 in back child support for a child who isn't his and is on the verge of losing everything because his income is being garnished by 50% each month to pay off that debt.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Baccus, you say that Mr. Wooten is your father, and when the results prove you right, you demand Ms. Smith and the rest of your father's family apologize for treating you so poorly.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Smith, how do you think Ms. Baccus has ruined your father's life?
Primarily through the actions of her mother by being very deceitful with my father from the very beginning of their relationship. They initially did not start garnishing his wages. It wasn't until later when he was started drawing Social Security that they began to garnish half of his wages. So up until the point that they started garnishing his wages, it was going into arrears, drawing interest, and now is over $92,606.06.
If that's the case, then he should have showed up when I showed up and when they took blood from me just to have the test. He should have showed up for the test and we wouldn't be here today.
When Ms. Baccus's mom said, "I'm pregnant," did you think it was your child?
I didn't question it, that it wasn't at the time.
So when did you start doubting that?
When she had...
My mama said I was a
when
planned
she
child.
became pregnant again years later, and she wanted to get back together. When I got back together with her, I'd asked her, had she been seeing anybody else before we got together? And she said no. We got together 3 weeks after we was together. Then she
Father,
told me
no
she was
disrespect
pregnant.
and not to interrupt you, but my mother told me I sat on the couch and she told me that you had said that you wanted another child.
Yeah.
That's what was told to me. But you're telling me something different, so that's why we're here today, to get some order.
Your mother, when I met your mother 3 weeks into knowing her, she wanted to know why
She told me I was together a whole year and then I was born a year later.
Alondra, please.
Man, Daddy, I can't. I'm not even feeling nothing that y'all saying right now. That's why I brought y'all here and we finna find out the truth. I am holding up a birth certificate. True enough, my mama was wrong for handwriting it in because he was not there when I was born. He came later. She wrote it in because she know who her baby daddy is. That's one thing my mama
let me
do
see
know.
this evidence. This is your birth certificate?
That was my birth certificate. But when I filed for my new one, it came up blank on his name. That means she wrote it in. Yeah, my mama probably, look crazy for making a crazy move, but she know who her father is.
How many lies
So it
has
is
your
your
mother told?
contention that because your mother was so certain who your father
wrote
was,
it in.
she wrote his name in.
She wrote it in. My mother told me he was not there when I was born. He came later on, after in the hospital.
Do you have evidence as well, Mr. Wooten?
Well, I just have the original copy.
May I see that?
He never denied me.
And this is the original copy where the name of the father has been left blank.
But Your Honor, in this picture, it don't seem like that he denied me. And in this picture, with my sister holding me next to my mother, didn't seem like they denied me.
Will you hand those up, please? Please explain to me, what is this a picture of?
That is my mother. That's me in the middle, and that's Cece on the end. That's why I can't never stop loving her. And she making me mad right now, but I still got love because I am my sister's keeper for life.
Your Honor, as a young child, I did take that picture, and I am smiling on that picture. I did not know whether or not that she was my sister or not at the time.
And
It wasn't special to you,
Ms.
but it was
Smith,
special to
as
my
you
mother.
listen to Ms. Baccus's testimony, she was included in your lives at some point as a part of your family.
Yes, she was, Your Honor.
Do
However,
you remember as a child the moment when all of a sudden it was determined that she would be excluded instead of included?
Ooh. We
Your
can't talk
Honor,
about that.
the reason,
can't talk about that.
the reason is because she was not the only child that came through my family that ended up being excluded because they were not family. They were treated as family while they were there.
You want to sweep me underneath the rug so bad, but you're not going to do it, baby. I'm still here. You let me get old now, and I can talk up for myself. And I'm tired of you lying on that.
One at a time.
I am talking.
I don't care. When I care about you, I'm supposed to care about you now? Girl, please, I'm getting order today. That's why I brought you here.
One at a
That's
time.
order.
In the case of Wooten Jr., versus Baccus when it comes to 34-year-old Alondria Baccus. Mr. Wooten Jr., you are not her father. I know this was not the answer you were expecting.
No, it wasn't, but I
And
had to do it. I had to do
Yes,
it.
you
I
did.
was tired of the rumors. I was tired of being treated. So now I know why I got treated like I am, and I'm good. I wanna apologize to the Wooten Pryor Clayton family for my mom's BS. Cece, I came here with the confidence of knowing he was my father and knowing you was my sister. So now that I know the truth, I'm sorry. Mama, you gotta pay that back.
She'll always be the daughter to me. It doesn't matter.
Mr. Wooten, as it relates to the back child support, this is a situation you will have to take up in your home state. There is no guarantee under the law that that debt will be canceled out.
Well, if he needs my help, I'm gonna help him. Cause my mama know I stand for the truth. That's all I ever wanted.
You say you've always known the defendant is your father and say his paternity denials are mere excuses as to why he was not there for you. You hope today's results put an end to this 44-year-old mystery. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. McAlister, you claim that years of doubt have given you reason to believe that you are not his father, but you may know who is. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are ready to prove your case today. Mr. Lewis, how has Mr. McAlister's denial affected you?
Well, growing up in South Central Los Angeles, you know, it was tough not having a father there. You know, knowing that you have one, you know, just different things that went on through my life that, you know, not having a man there to answer different questions, you know, it made things a lot tougher for me coming up, you know, but thank God that everything worked out.
So, Mr. McAlister, can you tell the court what was the nature of your relationship with Mr. Lewis's mother?
Me and Miss Lewis, we attend the same high school together, and I knew her as a casual friend. However, the young lady that I was dating at the time, we either had our differences or whatever, and somehow me and Mrs. Lewis hooked up for an evening. And never talked to her from that point on.
So what did you hear about the relationship, Mr. Lewis?
Well, my mom, you know, because the type of woman she was, she didn't want to allow the turmoil from that affair interfere with my life. But as a woman, we had to move on.
What did she say specifically?
She let me know who he was as a father. She had a picture of him. She gave me this picture, you know, with his, you know.
So was this some defining moment in your life when your mother said to you, I want to tell you who your father was, or was this always just...
No, it was clear, yeah.
It was clear?
It was clear, yeah, when I found out, yeah, when she told me.
And so when you got this picture and you had the name, and did you ever say, I want to look for him? Where is he?
Yeah, at that point in my life, I definitely wanted to know who he was. I was roughly probably a junior in high school, so I had a lot of things going on that I had already made it that far without a father. So, I mean, it would have been nice to know who he was, but at that point, I still had business to take care of. So it was, you know, it's kind of a bittersweet situation. I wanted to know, but I was kind of, you know, moving on with my life.
So she gave you the picture of him when you were in high school?
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
Okay, so Mr. McAlister,
Yes, ma'am.
all of this time, Mr. Lewis says it wasn't until high school that he even got a picture of you from his mother. All this time, you never knew you potentially had a son?
No, ma'am. I traveled to Los Angeles back in '81, and I ran into a relative of the family. And this individual told me that their relative had my son. And I got the information, and I called Mrs. Lewis, and I asked her, do we need to talk about something? And she said, no. I said, what about your son? What's going on there? I heard X, Y. She said, his dad is dead. I said, his dad is dead? She said, yes, his dad is dead.
Well, I have to ask you this. Why, if you were told definitively that his father had passed away by his mother, why are you now making these gestures, trying to connect with this young man?
Because of a credible friend of mine that I dated for years told me that there was a gentleman that was looking for me, saying that I was his father. And my thing is, whoever's looking for me that's saying that I'm their father, I need to talk to this person. So that's what I did. My thing is, again, like I said, before I leave here, within myself, I just need to know the truth.
This is such a mystery. So at the point when his mother said his father's passed away, you move on.
Right.
10 years later, someone you're dating and someone you trust, someone you feel like
Yes,
wouldn't
Your Honor.
lie to you says,
Yes, Your Honor.
there's a young man saying you're his father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So then you revisit this issue that you had put to bed for 10 years because you thought the door was closed.
However, directly to the son this time. The first time I reached out to the mom. The second time I find out that there's a young man looking for me, so I reached out directly to the son.
So when he reaches out, Mr. Lewis, what do you think? Do you remember that day?
Yeah, I remember it.
What happened? Take me back to that day.
It was bittersweet because I totally felt that he came around because things in my life were good. You know, me playing football, I had some scholarship offers, and it's like I heard more from him in that span than I had in the 18 years, 16 years of me living. So that's why things to me kind of seem fishy. Like all of a sudden, now that you see you have a son and he's doing well, now you're picking up the phone. Because like I say, where we're from, it's tough for us not to know who we're, you know, it's really tough because it's such a small community, you know, and I believe in my heart, I know my mother wouldn't lie to me, you know, when she told me who he was. I'm sure he knew. That's why he didn't quit, continuing to try. You know what I'm saying?
When it comes to 44-year-old Jermaine Lewis, it has been determined by this court. Mr. McAlister, you are the father.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What are you feeling in this moment, sir?
I feel grateful and gratitude that now I know the truth. If I had known he was my son, a fleet of elephants wouldn't have been able to keep me away from him.
What do you feel, Mr. Lewis? Can you tell your dad?
I mean, it's I'm willing to do, you know, whatever it takes. We can definitely try to make it work, you know. But I mean, I'm a different person because of my situation, you know,
Absolutely.
what I've been through. So, and I can't apologize for that, you know, from what I've been through.
Oh, you have no, as far as I'm concerned, you have no apology. You were the innocent person. There's nothing for you to apologize to
Right.
about.
I have to say this before we go. I want you to understand because I feel the wall that you've put up and I see why you did it. You know, I say this all the time. You either become the father you never had or you become the father you never had.
Right.
Mr. Alexander, you claim the defendant's mother led you to believe that no other man except you could be Ms. Washington's biological father. You are 100% certain she is your daughter and plan to prove that today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, it is true.
Ms. Washington, you say you don't believe that Mr. Alexander is your biological father because your mother never mentioned his name. But now, after 42 years of uncertainty, you want the paternity drama to end today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Alexander, you say you are 100% sure you are the father.
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Explain.
Because my mother led me to believe that in the time that we were together, that I'm the only man that she ever has associated with it.
Oh, that you were the only man that she was intimate with.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what else did her mother say?
She said that I was the father of her child.
All right, and you were led to believe that and you never believed anything different?
No, ma'am, I didn't, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Alexander, how did it feel when you finally heard this young woman's voice, the young woman you believe is your biological daughter? How did it feel?
I felt real good, Your Honor, because I had my daughter search for it and went on Facebook to find it, and I was so happy that I finally got in touch with my daughter. And I just wanted us to all be together and collaborate together and be as one family.
All right. So, Miss Washington, I see the tears in your eyes, honey. What are you feeling? This has to be very emotional for you.
I don't believe it. He contacted me at 29. Like, you missed out. If I was, you would have been there. Not at 29. And now I'm 42.
Can you take me to the day you first heard about Mr. Alexander?
I was about 29 years old. One night, my phone rang. I answered, and he's like, I'm looking for Tish. And I'm like, who is this? And he's like, I'm your dad. I'm like, no, no, you're not. Like, I told him I never heard of him before. Like,
He just says, I'm your dad.
yes. And he mentioned my granddaddy and my grandma. But I'm 29. Where have you been? My mom passed. He wasn't there. My granddaddy, my grandma passed. He wasn't there.
And so, who did your mother tell you your father was?
It was another guy. She was telling me the whole time that that was my father. So I mean, I was on the phone like every day trying to get a hold of him. And then one day I got a hold of him, and he wanted to meet up. I had to catch the bus. I was about 18 in. I had to catch the city bus to go meet him.
Take your time, honey.
We went, I met him at the restaurant. We sat down, and I was telling him that my mom said that he was my dad, and he was like, he didn't know, but he had a wife and kids already, and he didn't want to mess that up. So I was like, I'm ready to go. So he was like, I'll give you a ride home, and I took the ride home, and I never saw him or talked to him again.
I'm feeling bad because she hurt, but I'm speaking from my heart that I know. She needs to know the truth about this. I want her to
I
know.
need you to tell the truth about
I
this.
am, baby, I am.
I've been through cancer twice. By the grace of God, I'm still here, you know.
Amen. Yes.
When I was going through cancer, it was time for me to do a transplant after, like a year later. And I didn't have nobody. My mom not here. I don't know who my dad is. But then I was trying to get in contact with him because I needed a donor for my transplant. And he wasn't nowhere to be found. But then I was trying to get in contact with him because we was like on and off, we, you know, contact each other.
Okay.
And so for me to contact him, I have to go through his one daughter in Alabama. She used to call me asking me if I know where he was. So I'm like, no. Like every time I turn around, it's like a number's changing.
Mr. Alexander's life seemed to be a little unstable.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then when you were dealing with your second bout of cancer, they said you needed a donor. And so you immediately thought, I need to find Mr. Alexander.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because since my mother's gone,
Yes.
I need to see if he's a match.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so you said to yourself, when I do find him or when I do speak to him the next time, we have to get a DNA test.
Yes, Your Honor. And
Take me to that day.
I picked him up. They told us in 2 to 3 days they'll let us know. 3 weeks went by, and I haven't heard anything. I called her back, and I'm like, okay, so what is it? And so she said he wasn't.
In the case of Alexander versus Washington, when it comes to 42-year-old Tish Washington, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Alexander, you are not the father. I'm very sorry, Miss Washington. Very sorry. Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, Lord. I'm sorry. God bless you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes.
I'm sorry too, girl. I'm sorry.
It wasn't around, so it don't matter.
I'm sorry.
It's put me through a lot.
Miss Washington, I'm sorry I could not give you the closure that you deserve. You do, but we gave you the truth, and you needed that.
That's it. Yes, ma'am.
You need that.